AI image generation technology has come a long way over the past few years, exploding in capability and popularity.
And some of your favorite game artists want to talk about it.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Gay, and some of you might know my work from Magic the Gathering or science fiction fantasy.
Hello, I am Magali Villeneuve, and I've been a professional illustrator for 15 years now.
I'm Andrew Bosley. I've been a freelance illustrator for a very, very long time.
Hi, I'm Ryan Pancoast. I've been illustrating cards for Magic the Gathering for about 15 years.
Hi, my name is Milivoj Cheran, and I am Magic the Gathering artist for 7 years now.
What I see happening is really a big existential choice on the kind of world we want to live in. So if you have grown up loving comics or certain movies or animators or creators or gaming or other things like that that have grown into your life and you've been inspired by, then these things have a danger of going away in the impassioned and beautiful version that they have always been in, because in the past they have been created by artists.
With AI art, I think you're missing everything that is beyond the flat, two-dimensional piece. When I view a work from a human artist, I can also see the decisions that the human made. I can see that they put a backstory in this particular detail, or they took the time to render that hand really, really carefully and kind of let the details on certain other things kind of fall by the wayside. And that really is drawing my attention toward this for a specific purpose. It's like compounding mysteries, where you look at a piece on a surface level, sure, but then you know there's something beyond it. You know that there must have been sketches, there must have been reference taken, there must have been a process to get to this point.
It's one of my favorite quotes is by an artist, a famous art teacher from quite a ways back named Andrew Loomis. He said, "The creativeness is in the planning, plain and simple. The rest is good carpenter work."
It's a creative process that you make your own. It's all born in your head. It's product of your years of practice, of your culture, of your education, of inspiration.
Pour chaque pièce, je réalise d'abord des esquisses, le plus souvent au crayon, pour trouver ma composition et mon intention générale. Ensuite, je réalise des recherches colorées pour fixer mon ambiance et mes lumières. En tout, des premiers concepts jusqu'au résultat terminé, je passe en moyenne entre 30 et 40 heures sur chacune de mes illustrations.
I think a lot, for me, what's really important is that beginning part. The process for me as an artist is really so, it's that first half, it's the colors, it's the composition, it's the planning and figuring all of, the way a picture is made. It happens in that 50%. And I think most of my clients and most people in general, they maybe don't think about that 50% and think about the first 50%. They think about the last 50%. And it's like, just paint a picture. And I think that for me, that's where this AI conversation, is like, they can do the second 50 relatively well, but I don't think they can do the first 50 very well at all, at least at the moment.
They are skip all creative process that are part of making art. So it's not just to go to destination, but it's about the journey.
Sometimes weeks of not drawing anything, but just writing notes down and diagramming and thinking about things, and all of that stuff influences this one tiny image or this one tiny part of an image. And it's that much better because of it.
AI generated imagery is what it is, and that's all there is. It's all just pattern. There's no thought behind that. It's just finding what we all do as human artists and trying to replicate that. Without the stories of the human artist behind it, people are robbed of stories that they could have or mysteries that they could have. And I think that's just, it's deeply sad.
If more of that vision that's brought forward ends up becoming just derived out of a flavorless algorithm that, from my perspective, ends up looking kind of polished and flashy, but contentless and heartless. It's flash, but no content, a mile wide, but an inch deep. Then what we consume, the things that are in our life, are going to suffer in quality. And that will be a great tragedy. There will be a huge narrowing of what the art of illustration is.
I'm not going to fault anybody for using the AI apps or using the AI programs. I mean, they are fun. They produce interesting images. And if it was just that, then that'd be okay. But it's not just that, because it is a whole industry of working artists, and specifically clients who are looking for any way they can to cut costs.
There will be a huge number of companies who just want a product. And I think the big hard part, the wake-up call that many young artists are reckoning with, or even established artists who've worked within the commercial realm, is that they were never really wanted as artists to begin with. They were content creators, and the companies want product. And that's a hard thing to come to terms with, but it's going to get very evident which companies are the ones who never wanted art to begin with. They only want product.
And so it feels like, if I can just replace that last 50%, great, that's cheaper and faster and all those things. But there's a lot that the human provides, that in that 50%, I think, is where we have the potential to lose a lot.
AI evangelists will say that this is great for artists because it's going to increase the amount of art, increase the amount of ways that humans can express themselves. And while that may be true, what it's actually going to do is going to give a bunch of really powerful companies the ability to cut out humans and not have to pay them. I mean, that's basically what the end game here is. And even if there's more art out there, it's all going to be devalued. AI art is going to be devalued as well. It's going to be the first thing to be devalued, because if anybody can do it, it's just this worthless as people just speaking a sentence into the air.
Anyone can do what they do, meaning that with only a handful of people in-house in the companies, all other artists could be replaced if we are going that way, including the ones who think they are the new generation of artists. They won't be needed. They won't be needed because what they do, anyone can do it, because it is the machine who's working.
There will be a lot of capitalist mechanisms that will say, okay, we can do it much faster and much cheaper.
I care about the health and wellness of commercial art as an art form itself. And cutting humans out of that process makes that art form worse. It just does. The computers aren't adding anything to commercial art that doesn't already exist, except that it makes it cheaper for publishers and big companies to produce. And that's where things are going.
Many jobs will be lost because it will be replaced by machines.
En fait, je vois autour de moi énormément d'artistes, des collègues qui sont extrêmement anxieux et parfois même découragés. Je vois de jeunes artistes aussi qui se sentent perdus quant à leur avenir, qui cherchent conseil auprès de nous pour savoir que faire de tout cela. Ils perdent courage avant même d'avoir commencé et je trouve ça vraiment très triste. Que ce soit des créatifs confirmés ou ceux en devenir, il y a un vrai consensus appelant à la prise de conscience sur toutes les implications de cette technologie, qu'elles soient légales ou morales.
Those kind of jobs are where artists like me really started. You know, it's a starting point for all these artists who are now, it's going to be much harder for them to get their start. And so you're going to have a lot fewer artists, and the artists that do are going to be the ones with the supportive family, the money to be able to develop their skills without being paid for it. Not everybody has that. And I fear for those people who are now even cut out from doing the small time work.
Many current AI art tools are trained on proprietary images whose creators had no choice on whether or not to opt in.
The existing programs like Midjourney or DALL-E or some of the others that have been built have been trained upon protected material, copyrighted art, and proprietary images that are created by contemporary artists with no compensation rights or permissions. That is the big crux of the issue for me. Had the Midjourney programs or Lensa or any of the others been created on public domain or permissioned and licensed material, as any major company making a media project has to do with an artist's work, then I would have far fewer issues at all with this, because in fact AI is here to stay. The genie's out of the bottle, and it's just solely the unethical way in which these languages have been built.
Parce que, disons-le clairement, l'IA art se base dans son principe sur le vol pur et simple d'autres images. Et bien souvent, sur des images soumises à des copyrights, que ce soit des photos, des peintures, des illustrations, et ce, sans que jamais les détenteurs des droits puissent ou non donner leur consentement.
And so I would encourage people to push back against companies who are using it in its current manifestation because of those legal issues.
In the end, these tools are here to stay.
And while they are fun and have their uses, it's up to all of us to understand the impact this technology will have if it's widely adopted by industry.
And what we do with that knowledge is up to each of us.
So in the end, we just decide the kind of world we want to make. And if you feel that, the artists that you have known in your life who have worked within the realms of publishing or any area of gaming or things that you bring into your life that give you joy, if you want to keep a vision in that and you keep an intent in that, support the companies who are doing it and support the artists who do. That's the only power we have.
Find artists that you love and learn to appreciate art for what it is. Like as soon as a person goes from saying, well, that's just a pretty thing that just is there, to understanding what it took to make that sort of thing, you care a lot more.
What the fans can do to support artists is just as it is, support artists.
Quand vous achetez un jeu ou un livre, vous donnez votre argent pour une chose qui aura été faite et pensée pour vous, le fruit d'un travail réel, dans le but de vous divertir et de susciter une émotion chez vous. C'est le principe et la raison d'être fondamentale de l'art.
If we artists don't have fan base or collectors or clients, there won't be any place for us under the sun.
There will be the companies such as Magic, who I do believe, seeing as they have published the name of the artist on every card they have ever printed since the beginning of the game, and really understand the value of what it is to have an artistic vision connected to what they make. And I think their fans also really identify with it, as do many other wonderful supportive publishers and art directors and editors and such.
I don't know what the general population does with AI imagery, because generally the general population is not going to know the difference and is not going to easily recognize the difference between human art and AI art in the future, probably. But I think it's important that artists now raise their objections And I think it's important that the people that hire artists, specifically the larger corporations or the publishing houses, listen to those objections. If no other purpose than to preserve commercial art as an art form.
Au public, c'est que vous avez le droit d'être exigeant. Donc, pour soutenir la valeur si évidente et si importante de l'art humain, exigez de faire face à des gens qui auront pris la peine de travailler dur pendant des années pour vous plaire, pour vous faire rêver, des gens qui sauront en dédicace faire naître un dessin devant vos yeux avec un simple crayon, et aussi des gens qui pourront discuter avec vous de leur processus, de leur inspiration, des anecdotes de création, bref, tout ce qui fait la richesse et le sens de l'art.
And if you are an artist and you're coming into this world, now there will always be a place for artists. It's going to shift, it's going to reform. Some areas are going to shut down completely, but others may evolve again. So it's a very good time to ask yourself what you want to bring to the table as an artist. What is your perspective that only you can bring? What is the story of your life that goes into every mark you make? This is what's going to divide you from what an algorithm can do. And in the end, I think that there will always be people who will seek out this work for what it gives to the experience of the audience. So, those are my thoughts.
L'art, c'est pas une notion un peu abstraite et un peu élitiste. C'est simplement le cœur d'un humain qui va tenter de parler au cœur d'un autre humain. Et sans ce désir-là, l'art n'aurait même jamais existé. Alors que l'IA correspond par sa nature et par son processus à une industrialisation du plus grand symbole de la pensée humaine.